Operation Health is basically a 3-month period of time that we're going to be taking in order to fixing and repairing the game, as well as investing in core technologies and online techs to make sure that the game is as long-lasting as possible.
Pour moi, dans mon métier, surtout en tant que directeur créatif, je sais que si je veux obtenir quelque chose très clairement, j'ai vraiment intérêt en général à affronter qu'une seule cible. C'est pour ça que nous faisons ce choix. Même si aujourd'hui j'ai une tristesse à me dire je vais devoir décaler du contenu, il est très important d'affronter la santé et seulement la santé. Ce qui veut dire que nous, quand on parle à la communauté, on peut lui parler de santé, mais c'est le même discours en interne. Nous sommes cohérents. Nous regardons nos équipes et leur disons vous allez vraiment affronter la santé et solutionner un maximum de choses pour notre jeu.
When you look at the number of people that we're having and players we're having every day, health that touches upon subjects like matchmaking, connectivity, all those aspects are absolutely critical to the experience of the player. So putting that investment now on health is ensuring that in the long term we're having a better and smoother experience for the players.
Pour l'opération Health, nous allons nous focaliser sur 3 piliers majeurs. Pour le premier, nous allons pousser des améliorations technologiques qui vont améliorer l'expérience du joueur. Le second est intégrer un nouveau processus de déploiement pour améliorer notre contrôle de qualité. Et finalement, nous allons retravailler notre processus de bug fixing en se focalisant sur les bugs les plus importants pour ainsi éviter les régressions. Comme promis, la dernière saison, on va pousser en premier le One-Step Matchmaking qui est censé améliorer l'expérience globale de matchmaking dans le jeu. L'objectif du One-Step Matchmaking est d'apporter une expérience aux joueurs qui est plus fiable, rapide et fluide. De base, notre jeu est client-server-based, mais on a certaines parties qui reposent sur du peer-to-peer, notamment le Voice Chat System et le Party System. Et ça cause des problèmes de connectivité entre les joueurs. L'idée est de migrer ces systèmes vers du 100% client-server. Pour tous les changements technologiques majeurs, on va instaurer un processus de déploiement beaucoup plus rigoureux. Par exemple, pour le One-Step Matchmaking, on va déployer cette fonctionnalité sur le Technical Test Server en premier, itérer dessus, le réaliser après sur PC, et une fois qu'on sera sûr du résultat, on va le réaliser sur toutes les plateformes. On va aussi passer à des serveurs plus puissants, ce qui va nous permettre d'améliorer le tick rate de notre jeu et, au final, avoir une meilleure qualité de hit registration.
Chaque mur que l'on va passer, chaque pont que l'on va passer, c'est une façon de plus de sécuriser le contenu que l'on envoie. À chaque fois, l'effet boule de neige qu'on va avoir derrière, c'est un accroissement de la qualité du jeu. Nous y verrons plus clair pour opérer le jeu. Le joueur y verra plus clair aussi sur la santé globale de son jeu.
Today, the main thing we need to do, it's about investing, capitalizing on that game to ensure that we're going to be here for the next years to come.
What is up, everyone, and welcome to the Operation Health panel at the Rainbow Six Siege Season 1 Finals. I am Justin Kruger, your community developer. What's up, everyone? We have seen some amazing Pro League matches over the course of the past few days, and today we're going to take a step back and look at Operation Health, the next 3 months, and what is that actually going to mean for you, the players. As you saw in the video, we're going to be building this on 3 pillars, and we're building this with the people at Ubisoft Montreal. And joining me from Ubisoft Montreal studio, we have Alex Remy, the brand director. How's it going, Alex?
Very good. I mean, we've had such a good game and such good games on the semi-finals. Can't wait to see the rest.
Yeah, absolutely. And standing to his right is game designer Simon LaForge. How's it going?
It's going well. I'm loving the games today. We're having quite the show.
Absolutely. And joining us live from Ubisoft Montreal, we have Jalal, lead technical architect. How's it going, Jalal?
Hi, guys. I'm doing great.
Great. We can hear you and see you just fine. Thank you so much for joining us. How is it in Montreal?
Well, weather's good, so.
Great. So this panel obviously is dedicated to the really hard questions that we've been seeing over the past week and a few days since we've announced Operation Health. And I think one of the main questions that we've been seeing from the community on Reddit, on Twitter, in my Twitter DMs is, why are we doing this? So Alex, why are we going this route? Why are we doing Operation Health?
First, again, in a very couple of words, Operation Health, it's about us and taking 3 months to focus on the highest priorities for the game, which is everything that turns around matchmaking, connectivity, everything that makes the player and will make the player experience as good as possible is the number one priority. As to why we're doing this now, I think coming out of year 2, and for those who were at 6 Invitational, that was the main thematic and the main priority coming forward with year 2 was about focus on health. What happened is when we launched that first season, Velvet Shell, sorry, we had such an influx of people, such a huge amount of players coming in the game, and it created some issues, right? For about a couple of days, we've had like disconnections, problems, and really we sat down with the developers, Simon, the tech, and people, and we need to fix this. We need to make health the highest priority possible. So it's about taking 3 months, all of the people on the dev team focusing all their energies and efforts exactly on this.
Yeah, and priority is a key word there. And over the course of the next 20 minutes, we'll showcase our top priorities for the community. Why has it become such a priority now for the dev team and for the game?
Well, I think obviously because when you do look at multiplayer and online games such as Rainbow, there's no higher priority than making the player experience works in the best fashion possible. Being able to connect, join in progress, rejoin, have the best matchmaking possible, basically everything that is the core of the experience, even before gameplay itself, this is the highest priority. And this is something that we need to focus on as much as possible, and allowing us to have 3 full months only dedicated to this. And unfortunately that means indeed delaying the content. That means that all the efforts from the dev team, including the people who are making the content, that's gonna really push us towards the right direction. Also, one of the aspects that we need to mention when it comes to Operation Health, it's not only about fixing or repairing, it's about investing. It's about investing in the future of the game and our future for all of us. This game is meant to be established in the long term. We've said that several times ago. There's no sequel around the corner. We are looking at that game to be established for 5 years or more. So taking now the time to establish this, to invest in the tightening, reinforcing our infrastructure, all the different elements that are making the game today, it's a promise for the future.
So pretty much the next 3 months are dedicated to the next few years.
Exactly. For the next few years, obviously, this is going to be an everyday work. I mean, Operation Health, it's strengthening and reinforcing the game's foundation. It's about laying out the new investment that are gonna allow us to keep building and keep pushing that game and welcome more players as we move forward. But it's gonna be after Operation Health, we'll still have that health mentality and making sure that we push new content, push new tech as best as possible. And I think we're gonna see this in some of the pillars that we're explaining today.
Absolutely. Speaking of tech, I'd like to turn to Jalal for a moment.
Yes.
So from a technical standpoint, what is the reason really behind Operation Health?
I always come back to the analogy I think I already gave the previous panel I did during the Invitational is, like, we're trying to fix a car while it's moving. So it's hard to actually, like, let's say we have a flat, we need to change the tire, but the car needs to keep moving while you're doing that. Now we need to do more groundwork. We need to rework the basis of our game, and having the car moving at the same time, it's just plain impossible. So we had to stop making new content to kind of like fix the engine or change actually the engine to improve the overall experience of every single player. And for us, like, what we're focusing on the technology side is what also improves the quality of the game and the experience of every single player. And we're sticking like with the core experience of the game, which is matchmaking and networking, connectivity, which is for us something really important to improve on.
Absolutely. And over the next 3 months, it's really kind of a response to the past 3 months. Is that right?
Yeah, sure.
So moving on to the pillars of health, where we take a look at what the foundation of Operation Health is built on. First, you have technological improvements, which we will go into in fine detail, a new development deployment process, and also bug fix sprints as well. So let's take a look at pillar number 1, the technological improvements. So we've talked a lot about one-step matchmaking before. It's this major change that we've highlighted at the Six Invitational. It's actually been out on some of the technical test server tests that we've done in the past. But Jalal, if you could answer, what exactly is one-step matchmaking?
So one-step matchmaking, previous technology we had on the game, which is two-step matchmaking, is when matchmaking is done in a single step, and it's actually an improvement over the overall flow of matchmaking. So previously we would first connect players between each other as a team, and then they will go into a second phase of matchmaking where they will connect with another team and play the game. Now everything is going to be like during the same step when we take like 10 players and be able to reason in a better fashion on the 10 player, be able in the long term to balance them in a better fashion and assign them to a game directly. So that's going to also be bundled with interactive matchmaking, because the development of the two features has been done at the same time. So the players are going to see actually that going on while being able to interact with the menus, go into the shop, or just pick their operators on the operator menu screen.
Great. And so could you elaborate a little bit more exactly how this will improve the game for the player experience overall? Joel?
Well, the experience is a lot more fluid. Before, like having a more complex flow, having the two steps, needing to connect players between each other in a team first, you need actually to establish a meshed connection between each of the peers, and that meant flows that can lead to errors, because it's always like really hard to establish connection between peers. And now everything is like going through our servers directly, and just like more stable and more fluid experience.
Great, excellent. So fluid, more stable experience with one-step matchmaking.
Yes.
And so, but does it also speed up the matchmaking process as well?
Well, we cut the number of steps by 2, so that means that intrinsically, like everything's gonna be faster in the sense that like we just like go through the list of players once and find a game where we can like have 10 players assigned to 2 teams play in one go. So of course that's going to improve the speed of matchmaking.
Great, and also this will be in ranked and casual, correct?
Yes. Going to touch all game types.
Great,
game modes.
Absolutely. So let's talk a little bit about interactive matchmaking as well from a design, UX, UI standpoint. This is really going to be a big feature, right? It's been out on the technical test server for a little bit. Simon, could you explain a little bit about the impact that one-step matchmaking brings to the player experience?
Well, the interactive matchmaking will let the player have a better experience by just being able to browse the shop, browse the operators, change their loadout while they're queuing for a matchmaking game, for a game. So, this is going to benefit both players and streamers also. A streamer came to me yesterday saying that's going to be awesome because I'm going to be able to show my loadout while we're queuing for games, with the thing that viewers ask me all the time. So it's really benefiting everyone, making the whole experience smoother.
Nice, and as you can see here, this is a little video clip that we recorded of someone during matchmaking actually changing their loadout, which is pretty great.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
If you have had the opportunity to test it out on the technical test server, it's a really fun experience, and our next test coming up will absolutely have this as well. So I encourage you to try it out and give us feedback on it. Absolutely. So Jalal, alongside of one-step matchmaking, that allows us to implement new menu systems like the interactive matchmaking. Are there any other menu systems that will be implemented alongside those?
Menu systems.
Yeah, so like,
Well,
is there an opt-in, opt-out flow for matchmaking at the end?
Yeah, we actually changing a bit the flow of matchmaking in the sense that right now when a game finishes, you have the choice to actually either like the voluntary choice of each given player to keep continuing playing and queue in the next match, or just like come back to the main menu where before like you would automatically queue back, and that would actually cause issues with the matchmaking itself, because we would have a lot of players queuing in matchmaking and submitting tickets to actually be able to matchmake with another team, and then back out because that wasn't their intention in the first place. And that would create like a bit of mayhem on our systems where like we have a lot of players coming in, coming out of matchmaking. And so that flow is gonna like give the power to the players to actually decide whether or not he wants to queue back or not.
Yeah, so at the end of a match, at the after action report, there's going to be a button you can press to re-queue into matchmaking or opt out and go back to the menu system,
yes.
Right?
And you can actually re-queue with your team, even if like you didn't squad up in the first place, or just like enjoy playing with the same people like that you met like just in this game. And you can either choose to queue with them or just like re-queue with a separate team or go back to the main menu.
Great, and
the default is going to be going back to the main menu, sorry.
That's all right. And that also affects how parties group up, too. When you're in that party system, the party leader can choose to opt into the opt-in flow, right?
Yes. It's the party leader that now can choose like whatever is going to happen for his full team, and individuals within the party can also can choose to unsquad if they don't want to like continue within the flow chosen by the party leader.
Nice. So with one-step matchmaking and interactive matchmaking, we have a whole new way of interacting with the matchmaking system, where it's not only going to be more stable, more fluid, and more reliable, but it's also going to be more interactive, where you can change your loadouts right from the menu systems. And it's also going to have a better party flow, so that if you want to go back to the lobby, you don't have to quit your party. You can all coordinate much easier. So a lot of UI, UX designs, user experience, quality of life experience is getting improved, not only with this matchmaking process that is better, but also a more interactive, fluid matchmaking process.
Yeah, you really pointed towards the right direction. I feel, those two elements, which are quality of life that we see in the interactive matchmaking and the opt-in system, as well as reliability of all that system that's a bit under the hood, and that's really what we're looking for and pushing with Operation Health. So I think this is going to be a tremendous change.
Absolutely. I think it's going to be really interesting and really fun. And like I said, it will come to the technical test server, so you can try it out on Wednesdays to Fridays. So moving on to the second point of Pillar 1, 100% server-based features. Now, Jalal, would you be able to explain what are some of the major differences between P2P and dedicated servers?
Yes. Well, in peer-to-peer systems, we actually establish connection between each of the clients, like the peers, and connect them with every other single player. So that makes a lot of like connection that we need to handle, a lot of like lines that like need to match and need to work properly for having the whole system work without issues. On a client server architecture, like it's far more simpler. You have one server and everyone connects to it. That server has like better guarantees on quality of connection, and it being like an open endpoint in the internet, so everyone can connect to it more easily. So for us, moving to a 100% client server architecture means that we're going to simplify a lot of our flows and make a more solid experience overall, like when creating a party, when voice chatting. And that's going to translate like actually NAT type is not going to exist anymore within that system, but it's like everyone has an open NAT type when we're going to move to a 100% client server system.
So in summary, currently Siege uses peer-to-peer for its party system and voice system. That's no longer the case.
Yes. So like parties, when you invite someone, you actually establish a connection between each one of the peers, like you invite within your body, and there's not going to be a direct connection anymore. Everything's going to go through our servers. Like virtually for the player, he's still like partying up with people. Like the leader of the party can choose to matchmake. His party is going to follow, and everything's going to work in that fashion. But there's not going to be any connectivity between each one of the players. The other benefit for this is you won't see the IPs of any other player on your console anymore, or on your PC, which is like for security purposes like really important.
Yeah, that's absolutely great. And also, does this impact connectivity and matchmaking errors as well?
Currently, we have a lot of like flow and errors that actually are due to peer-to-peer connectivity. As I said, like it's really hard to maintain a very solid peer-to-peer connections because like we have too many variables. So like at your home, you have your router, which is like gonna be like connecting you to your ISP. You need to be connected to someone else on another ISP, and maybe you're gonna have like a separate type of setup at your home with 2 network cards connected, and that makes a lot of like kind of difficult system to be able just to connect people together. And us cutting in that makes everything go smoother, and we're gonna have less errors within our flows that have an influence on the overall experience in the game and also in matchmaking sometimes.
Great. And Alex, turning to you for a moment, these are some base core features of the game that we're really focusing on. What has been the process for us to come to this point, to make this decision to really focus on moving to this new system?
I think mainly that came up from all the tech leads like Jalal. I mean, we've been pushing out content and observing, monitoring the game for more than a year now, and obviously each time there's been a season, there's been new content, there's been upgrades that we did. We also saw like when we have this connection, we monitor pretty much all the life cycle of the game ever since we launched. And I think there's a point clearly for all of us inside the dev team where fixing those problematics, all those complexities, all the different variables that Jalal was mentioning became an absolute priority. If we want to move forward, invest in the future, and look really into 3, 4, or 5 years and more, this is something that absolutely needs to happen, especially considering that the player base is keep growing up. So that means we have much more solid foundations.
Yeah, player base ever since the launch of Season 1 this year has been exponentially growing, and it's been so great to see our community grow, our player base grow, and it's really awesome. And I think these kinds of features are really needed and requested from a lot of the players.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, moving on to our third point of Pillar 1, which is faster servers. Now, obviously, this means faster servers, higher tick rates, improved hit registration, and that kind of sounds awesome. But Jalal, how will the faster servers improve hit registration and tick rate of the game?
Okay, we're moving to a new generation of servers that is more powerful. What we're looking for is actually here more stability. So our server is actually currently running at 50 ticks per second. And we want to get more stable servers for a more like uniform experience to everyone. So currently we have instances where servers can actually behave in a less efficient manner in terms of variance of tick rate. So tick rates can vary like from one tick to another, making for a less uniform experience, and that translates to usually a less optimal hit registration. So when running our simulation, the more stable we are from one tick to the other, the more we are able to predict whatever is happening and have very constant simulation with very predictable values. So us targeting stability of our servers in terms of tick rate is really important, and this is what we're looking for when moving to a new generation of servers.
And that consistency is really key, right? Because we originally launched with could you talk about a little bit about how we launched the game?
Originally, we launched the servers running at 30 ticks per second. Then we moved them to 60 ticks per second, and then we went back to 50 ticks per second. The issue is like how our servers operate. Actually, they have an internal clock which is set to 10 millisecond cycles. Those 10 millisecond cycles, which translate to 100 ticks per second, you need to have your server update aligned to that. So actually, neither running at 30 or at 60 is actually ideal. You need to be running at either 100 hertz or 100 ticks per second, or 50 ticks per second, or 33 ticks per second, or 25 ticks per second. So for us, like the choice has been to run at 50, because 50 there's only 3.4 milliseconds between running at 60 and 50. And that allows us to have more stable servers in the end. And this is kind of like what we're looking for currently, more than just raw speed.
Great. So not only a new generation of servers, but higher, faster tick rate, more stability, so it allows you to not only stay connected, get connected, but also stay connected to the servers, which is really great.
And all of the different elements that we mentioned before, from one-step matchmaking to removing of the last peer-to-peer elements, and now the new generation of servers, all together, it's an ecosystem, right? So all of them are going to have the same benefits of solidifying our infrastructure, making it more reliable, ultimately delivering a better service and a better quality of life overall for everyone.
Absolutely. Great. So there you have it. With Pillar 1, you're not only getting one-step matchmaking, you're getting the faster servers and also the dedicated servers, so 100% server-based features, which is all going to mean faster, more stable, better connections, and overall a more fluid experience for you guys. Moving on to our pillar number 2, which is our 3-step deployment process for new tech features. And the technical test servers has really been a feature that we've been using over the past few months, and it's going to take a larger role in Operation Health. So Jalal, why did the team decide to separate the deployment process like this, first from TTS, PC, and then console?
Well, for us, it's important to have more safety nets now when deploying like major features. And for us, like one-step matchmaking, for example, is like a major rework of all of our flows within the game. So we need to have that into the hand of the players in a very stable fashion, and we need to ensure that when it goes live to everyone, it's actually working properly. So we decided to actually go through the deployment process in various steps, where we ensure on each step that a given feature is exposed to more and more people, and we're able to have a broader view on the quality of that feature that we're putting live. So first, we're gonna release stuff on the TTS, like the one-step matchmaking has just finished its first round of public testing, I think this Friday. Yeah, it was this Friday. So we're probably going to do a second round of technical test server on the one-step matchmaking. Then we're going to release it on PC first. PC allows us to reach a large, broader like community of players, but also allows us to fix in a faster fashion any kind of issue that we encounter. So on PC, we have control over our release schedule, so it's actually easier for us to ship a version within 1 hour of when discovering an issue, or even roll back to the previous version if an issue is actually really bad and you need to do something about it quickly. And then we're going to release it to consoles, which is like touching all our community and touching all the players.
And that on-off switch is also another part of pillar number 2, where we can easily roll back that deployment if it goes wrong. Is that right? Is that a new deployment process for the team?
Well, it always comes back to more safety nets. So one of the things that we wanted to improve on is how we do features in the first place. Some of our features that we did on the last year were kind of like full replacements of already existing features. But getting that to a stable and working fashion is actually can be hard, and we sometimes really need to have it within the hands of the players to actually see how well it is working, especially when you have to deal with hundreds of thousands of variety of types of connections and stuff like that. So on-off switch is another safety net that, going forward, all the major technical improvements that we're going to bring to the game are going to have an on-off switch to be able to roll back as fast as possible if the new system have an issue that we didn't foresee before doing our different rounds of tests.
Really interesting. And can you give us a little bit of an example of how this deployment feature might come in handy?
So let's say voice chat, we switched to our server-based voice chat solution, and we put it live, and there is some parameters that we didn't account for, either like the load of the number of players being too big, or we have some error in the flow that only shows up when you have a lot of players in. And for us, we're gonna keep the old system at the same time, so we're gonna be able to actually switch back instantly to the old system, and without actually having to deploy a new build. And just like players are gonna notice a small interruption in the service of that specific service that we're talking about, voice chat in this instance, and we're gonna go back to the old system until we work out exactly what went wrong with the other one.
Great, and there's going to be 2 parallel production timelines that you're actually going to be working on. Is that right?
The two parallel production timelines, and
yeah, just there's going to be pretty much. I think actually we touch on it a little bit later, so I'll save that for when we hit the production timeline. Alex, I do see some concerns about console players not actually getting feeling, maybe a little sad, a little neglected. Why exactly are we doing it this way, and what kind of benefits will it have for actually console players in the long run?
It was very well touched upon by Jalal. The main objective is add safety nets to the way we deploy content, and for the console players, the absolute biggest benefit is the fact that when that content reaches those platforms, actually it's going to be tested across those different filters, so it will be as reliable, as solid as possible. So I think for the vast majority of the players, because console today is the biggest share of the player base, those guys will only see content that's been through those different filters. Again, as mentioned, PC today is that second step when we do testing after technical servers, and the fact that it's a platform where we can actually iterate and update much faster than on console, obviously, where we have to work with first parties and there's a slightly longer submission times or timings. Then that's why PC is the platform where we deploy those technical improvements first.
Right, and the console players won't have to wait too long in order to get their content, right?
Yep.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. So also coming next week to the technical test server, there will be some challenges, so you can log in and earn a couple renown boosters and even a charm, which is going to be really great. So we really encourage you to try out the technical test server updates and check out the Reddit and Twitter for announcements on that. Moving on to our final pillar number 3, our bug fix sprints. Obviously, bug fixes are really important to the team. Simon, could you tell us exactly what the approach is towards these bug fix sprints?
So basically, the new way we're going to approach bug fixing is that, in the previous season, we would try and fix 150 bugs at the same time, and then there would be a regression, so like a problem that we didn't anticipate when we pushed the new fixes, and we were not able to tell where it came from, what caused it. So by doing the bug fixes in smaller buckets, it allows us to identify the regression a lot more easily if it happens.
Absolutely, and this is something a little bit new for us, where we're taking the top, top priorities and really focusing on the top, 10 to 20 bugs and making sure those issues are going to be addressed. And those have actually been identified by the community as well, and these are issues that have been reported to us over time and time again, tweeted at us, posted on the subreddit. Now, in terms of priorities for the development team, could you give us an example of some of those priorities that the players might see?
Well, for one, we're attacking one of the biggest offender, the Urbana bug. It's been plaguing us for a while now, and we're getting around to actually fixing it. It just required a ton of time to fix. It was a lot more than we anticipated, though. So that's one of the things we're looking at.
Nice. And can we expect any kind of operator balancing in the future in Operation Health? Yeah,
absolutely. It's something that we haven't talked a lot about, and people were thinking that because we're doing Operation Health that we're not going to be addressing balancing. We are able to do small tweaks to the game balance. The only thing is that we can't take resources like programmer, artist, FX artist. So the way that the tweaks we can do is data tweaks, so tweaking numbers. One of the first tweaks that we'll be doing, and I'm sure a lot of you are going to rejoice, but we'll be looking at our friend Glass that is right now too strong. So the tweak that we'll be doing is in 3 parts. We'll be looking at tweaking the damage of his rifle. So right now it's only like 1 to 2 bullets to get a kill, and it's going to transition from 2 to 3. So it won't be as instantaneous. We are going to make the recoil a little bigger, so a little more important. It's going to be harder to change shots. And the third one is a kind of an indirect nerf. So we'll be moving the smokes away from Thermite and Ash and giving them to Jackal and Fuse.
Wow, that's a lot, right?
Yeah, so there will be a lot less utility in the top tier picks right now in the meta.
Yeah, so don't expect a ton of operator changes, but clearly one of the most talked about operators will be getting a little bit of a...
This is the first step for Glass, and we'll see how it goes after that. We'll look at the data and see if we achieve our results, see if the results are good.
And that's key. It's always a first step whenever tweaking an operator like this, as we saw yesterday with Blackbeard. The changes happened over time, and I think all of our operators can change at any moment notice, right? Like
absolutely.
They're always up to discussion.
Yeah, and it was hard to imagine how it was going to play out when we pushed out this new highlight scope on Glass. Like we were thinking, yeah, that this is the right idea. This is the way we want to move in. But how is it going to play out? Turns out it's a little strong.
Great, thank you guys so much. So in summary, for the 3 pillars of Operation Health, you're going to have technological improvements, a new deployment process, and also bug fix sprints to address those really pesky issues. And included in this, maybe a operator balance change or 2. So let's take a look at the roadmap for year 2, 2017, the new roadmap with Operation Health fit in here. And Alex, why don't you run us through what we're seeing on the screen here?
Yeah, I mean, we sort of already published that roadmap, and the main reasoning behind this is how do we keep the seasonality, like the structure of 4 seasons across the year, how Operation Health that we understand is a sort of a delay and postponing of the content will have the less impact possible for that year too. So the idea was how we are going to be redistributing the content of on season 3 and season 4. So we have for season 3 Hong Kong, that'll actually feature 3 operators, including one of the Grom, and season 4, which is South Korea, as well 3 operators. So ideally, again, the objective was how do we keep the minimum impact on year 2 roadmap, keep delivering the 8 operators, which are usually the big meta changer and the big content that everyone is looking at. Obviously, as everyone can notice, the one casualty on the roadmap is going to be the free Poland map that's unfortunately not going to be in this year.
Yeah, and we are here in Poland. What was the decision process behind making that choice? It obviously was not an easy decision. All of this was not an easy decision, but run us through the thought process of that.
Yeah, I mean, first, it is not an easy decision. It is a disappointment as much as for us and the teams that are working on all of that great content, as well as for all of the players. So we absolutely understand everyone who feels disappointed about this. In regards to the process as to why we decided to sort of sacrifice the Grom or the Polish operation, it comes down to how redistributing that content over the year, it made much more sense to redistribute those two Grom operators in Season 3 and Season 4, and it was a better and a better redistribution than if we had to keep the full operation.
Interesting. Now, turning to Jalal for a moment, the level design team obviously will not be taking a break during this time. What exactly are the kinds of things that they will be working on over the next 3 months?
Well, currently, like all level designer, level artists, like everyone on the production floor is actually working on Operation Health. So for us, like during the last year, we actually developed a lot of like new tech to build better maps and try to do like more performant and maps that consume less memory. Those techs need to actually to be retrofitted on everything we did before actually developing them. And for us, that means that like we're gonna get an overall, let's say 30% improvement on memory on all the maps. That 30% can be diverted to actually do something better. Maybe an operator that's like by its way of working is gonna consume more memory, or all the performance wins that we're gonna get from like that overall like retrofitting of all the maps that have been done so far and making them better fit into memory and the more performance is going to allow us to do better in the future. So everyone is working on improving the health of the game.
Absolutely. It's a all hands on deck situation where everyone is coming together. Is that kind of the sentiment that we're seeing amongst the dev team, where this is they sort of feel like this is something to be proud of?
Yeah, actually, the reaction from the dev team, even though it's been a difficult sort of decision as well, almost acceptance to say, holy, we're not going to release the content we used to, and we love doing that content and creating that content. But everyone was like aware. I mean, if one thing needs to be done 100%, this is going to be health and improving the game. So everyone like really chipped in and is chipping really, really hard to push this 100%. This is whether we are talking about the 3 pillars, whether it's optimizing, whether it's finding new or better processes and ways to work so that the game again is looking towards the future and toward the next years in a much more confident way.
Absolutely, great.
Justin?
Yeah, Jalal, go ahead.
Yeah, so overall, like for all the devs, like we were looking like at the current state of the games, like and the number of players we have in the start of the previous season, and looking like projecting ourselves to 3 years from now, 4 years from now, when we're having like 60 operators, a lot of content that we have to maintain and to update and have it working properly. And for us, it was really important to actually like go back to drawing boards and see like what can we do to actually make that happen and less friction possible, and have like the overall like groundwork laid out properly so we can build more and more and have like better content coming up in the future.
Great. And speaking of better content coming up in the future, let's take a look at the deployment overview that you have been working on. So, Jalal, you put this roadmap map together. What are some of the top priorities that the dev team will be tackling over the next 3 months, according to this timeline?
Yeah, well, the first priority is one-step matchmaking, which has already been on the TTS, and it's supposed to be released within the next week on PC. As we said, we're always going to release PC first for those technological improvements. Then we're going to release all features that are related to 100% client-server functionality, like removing party system would be like one of the best the best improvement on experience creating parties, and it's gonna like have a big impact on the players. So it's gonna be also one of the biggest priority for us.
Great, absolutely. That's really excellent. And as you can see there, we do have two major title updates coming in Operation Health. So there will be certain, certain excitement around these two things. You obviously see bug fixes in both title updates, with one-step matchmaking coming in 2.1, and we also saw some alpha packs coming in 2.2. Is that right? So obviously, an operation dedicated to health, why are we doing alpha packs?
So basically, just to go back on what alpha packs are, they're basically free loot for the player. At the end of each game, you'll be getting a chance to drop an alpha pack. And if you don't drop the alpha pack, your chance will be higher for your next game. And so this loot is categorized in different rarity levels, as you can see. But yeah, it's basically free loot.
It's free loot, and as you can see here, some people are getting kind of excited. I know Twitch chat has been spamming alpha packs all day long, and you can see that there's certain levels of item rarity associated with each item, and obviously if you do get a duplicate as well, it gets refunded to you in Renown.
Yep. And yeah, just if I can come back on why they are actually being released, like within the Operation Health, obviously they are not really like part of the health initiative that we're pushing on, but how the alpha packs have been developed, and they touch a lot on the UI and the flow that actually also touch the interactive matchmaking and the one-step matchmaking. So while making them, it was really hard to actually separate the two and have us ship just one-step matchmaking, interactive matchmaking, without, anyways, like shipping all the code base that alpha packs brings with it. So it was kind of like for us, something that we have to ship within the health season, and kind of like get it out of the way on the tech side.
Great, excellent. I know Twitch chat is going crazy right now for alpha packs, so there's still going to be a couple surprises coming in Operation Health that should be kind of fun, allow you new opportunities to get content, as well as addressing these long-standing issues. So that is, in conclusion, our Operation Health panel. Thank you guys so much for joining me. Once again, we will be as fully transparent with you throughout this entire process. And starting next week on May 23rd, we will be launching the Operation Health website hub on our website, where we will be providing you constant updates, addressing known issues. You can have a full overview of Operation Health, and that will be your central point for all things Operation Health, pulling back the curtain, showing how all of these things are made. And then, obviously, Operation Health launches on May 24th with the new branding, rank reset, and our new deployment process moving forward. So thank you guys once again, Alex, Simon, Jalal, thank you so much for joining me. We have an amazing, amazing grand final coming right up with Penta versus Black Dragons. Before we head to that, any predictions?
Making predictions at this point is like
useless.
It's useless. Anything goes. Anything goes. Yeah, may the best win for sure.
That's what we've learned on the quarter and SEMA is like anything can go. Yeah, absolutely.
I think we see everybody betting against the Brazilians losing, and but obviously Penta coming back for being our season 1, year 1 champions is really exciting too. So we cannot wait for you guys to check out the grand final action at the Rainbow Six Siege Season 1 Finals. We'll be right back after a break. Thank you guys so much.